Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most shocking developments in the Russia-Ukraine war so far, a move that stunned analysts, embarrassed the Kremlin, and shook the foundations of Vladimir Putin's carefully guarded logistics network. Ukraine has just pulled off an extraordinary strike that destroyed a secret Russian supply line, a route Moscow relied on for months to quietly move weapons, fuel, and manpower into occupied territories. What happened next left the Russian military scrambling for answers and Putin's command structure in chaos. For months, Western intelligence agencies suspected that Russia had created a hidden corridor to move supplies safely across its vulnerable front lines. This wasn't an ordinary route. It was a complex web of railways, bridges, and depots stretching deep into occupied Ukraine, camouflaged from satellites and protected by sophisticated air defenses. But Ukraine's recent operation has completely shattered that system, cutting off what many military experts are calling the lifeline of Putin's war machine. It all began with a series of unusual movements spotted near the city of Melitopol. Ukrainian reconnaissance drones detected convoys moving only at night, escorted by heavily armed vehicles. The routes avoided major highways and crossed through makeshift bridges and forest trails. At first, analysts thought it was just another supply run. But the pattern didn't fit the usual logistics. The trucks were loaded with sealed containers guarded by elite units from the Russian Ministry of Defense. Something bigger was going on. Behind the scenes, Ukrainian intelligence, working closely with Western partners, began tracking every signal, radio call, and drone image coming from the region. What they discovered was a covert supply artery that linked Crimea to the southern front. This line secretly transported advanced missiles, Iranian drones, and fuel from depots in Crimea to Russian positions near Zaporizhzhia and Kherson. It was the kind of supply chain Moscow believed to be untouchable. Until now, in early October, Ukraine made its move. Using a combination of satellite intelligence, resistance networks inside occupied areas, and precision missile strikes, they launched an attack that targeted key junctions of the hidden supply route. The main blow came when a HIMARS strike destroyed a railway bridge near Tokmak, a bridge that Russian engineers had spent months reinforcing and concealing with radar, absorbing materials. The explosion lit up the night sky, and within hours, the entire line was in ruins. Russian social media exploded with panic. Videos posted by residents showed fireballs rising over the countryside, trains derailed, and massive secondary explosions as fuel and ammunition depots went up in flames. The Kremlin initially tried to suppress the news, claiming it was just an accident caused by faulty equipment. But satellite photos released days later told a different story: total destruction. Ukraine had hit the artery that kept the Russian war effort alive in the south. For Putin, the timing couldn't have been worse. Russian forces were already stretched thin along multiple fronts, struggling with logistics after months of Ukrainian drone attacks on fuel depots and railway hubs inside Russia. The destruction of this secret supply line forced Moscow to reroute everything through longer, riskier paths. Trucks now had to travel hundreds of extra kilometers under constant threat from Ukrainian drones and partisans. That meant slower deliveries, less fuel at the front, and more chaos in command centers. But what makes this move so stunning isn't just the physical damage. It's the intelligence precision behind it. Ukraine didn't just stumble upon this target, they built the operation over months, combining satellite data from NATO, signals intelligence from intercepted Russian communications, and real-time updates from underground networks of locals. Each strike was coordinated to hit multiple choke points at once: bridges, depots, rail hubs, making it impossible for Russia to quickly repair or reroute the line. Reports from the front suggest that Russian troops in the south are now facing severe shortages. Fuel convoys are being ambushed, ammunition stockpiles are dwindling, and soldiers are complaining about delays in basic supplies. Even more damaging, morale is collapsing as troops realize that the one secure lifeline from Crimea is gone. Some analysts believe this single operation could accelerate the weakening of Russia's southern front and give Ukraine a rare strategic edge heading into winter. Meanwhile, the Kremlin is furious. Russian state TV has gone into overdrive, blaming saboteurs, NATO satellites, and even space-based weapons for the disaster. Putin himself reportedly demanded immediate retaliation, ordering the FSB and GRU to find those responsible for the intelligence leaks that made this Ukrainian strike possible. But inside the Russian military, fingers are already pointing in every direction. Generals are blaming engineers. Engineers are blaming logistics officers. The atmosphere is one of fear, confusion, and paranoia. Behind the scenes, Ukrainian officials have been quietly celebrating what they describe as one of their most successful deep strike operations since the start of the war. According to sources close to the defense ministry, the operation was named Iron Veil, symbolizing the effort to pierce through Russia's supposedly invisible logistics network. The strike not only disrupted Russian supplies, but also revealed the extent of Western intelligence cooperation, something Moscow had long feared but underestimated. What makes this even more fascinating is how Ukraine used deception. Before the main attack, Ukrainian drones repeatedly struck decoy targets, small fuel tanks, and empty depots, drawing Russian attention away from the real supply route. When Russia reinforced those false positions, Ukraine struck where it mattered most. This kind of psychological warfare has become a hallmark of Ukraine's new strategy: confuse, misdirect, and then destroy. In the days following the strike, Ukrainian officials released limited footage showing the aftermath: burn out trains, twisted rails, and black smoke covering the sky. The message was clear: nowhere is safe for Russia's supply chains anymore. Even the routes they believed to be secret are now vulnerable. This has sent shockwaves through Russian Logistics Command, forcing them to rethink every supply corridor from Crimea to Donbas. International reaction has been swift. NATO officials praised the precision and timing of the operation, calling it a textbook example of how modern warfare relies on intelligence and agility rather than brute force. Western analysts noted that this strike is a turning point, showing that Ukraine's growing network of surveillance, satellite partnerships, and long-range strike capabilities can dismantle even the most protected Russian infrastructure. But for ordinary Russians, the news has been harder to swallow. Social media channels once full of patriotic slogans are now flooded with complaints about mismanagement and corruption in the army. Many are questioning how such a vital route could have been exposed so easily. The sense of invincibility that Putin tried to project is fading fast, replaced by anger and disbelief. Some bloggers even hinted that insiders may have leaked the coordinates, a possibility the Kremlin is now desperately trying to suppress. As winter approaches, this development could have massive consequences on the battlefield. Without steady supplies, Russian forces will struggle to maintain their defensive lines. Ukraine, on the other hand, gains breathing space to regroup, rearm, and plan further offensives. Every destroyed bridge, every burned out train, and every lost fuel depot adds up to one reality: Russia's logistics empire is crumbling from within. It's also a symbolic blow. For months, Putin boasted about Russia's ability to adapt under sanctions and battlefield pressure. He insisted that Russia had found new ways to sustain the war effort, but this single operation has exposed how fragile that system truly is. When one secret supply line can bring an entire front to its knees, it's not just a military problem, it's a political one. Behind closed doors in Moscow, frustration is boiling over. Defense Minister Shoigu reportedly clashed with logistics commanders over why security around the route failed. Several officers have already been dismissed, and a few have mysteriously disappeared. Russian intelligence agencies are now investigating possible infiltration by Ukrainian agents or Western operatives inside the occupied territories. Whether they find anyone or not, the fear alone is destabilizing the ranks. Meanwhile, in Kyiv, the mood is cautiously optimistic. Officials know that this victory, while significant, doesn't end the war, but it proves something powerful, that Russia's vast military machine can be outsmarted, outmaneuvered, and ultimately outsupplied. Each successful strike erodes Putin's aura of control and strengthens Ukraine's confidence in its own capabilities. On social media, Ukrainians have been sharing memes and jokes about the destroyed bridge, calling it Putin's missing link. Others simply post images of the burning trains with captions like "Crimea's highway closed for repairs." Humor aside, the national pride is evident. After months of tough fighting and loss, moments like this reignite hope that Russia's grip can indeed be broken. Military analysts are now debating what comes next. Some believe Ukraine will follow up with further strikes on alternative supply corridors, especially those running along the Azov coast. Others think this operation was designed as a message, a warning that any secret route Russia builds will eventually be discovered and destroyed. Either way, the implications are enormous. Without consistent logistics, Russia can't sustain large-scale offensives. Its army becomes slower, weaker, and more vulnerable to Ukrainian counterattacks. There's also a psychological aspect to consider. Russian troops on the ground now know that even their hidden supply lines aren't safe. That uncertainty breeds hesitation, and hesitation kills morale. In contrast, Ukrainian forces gain motivation, seeing tangible proof that their intelligence and precision tactics are working. It's not just about weapons anymore, it's about confidence, and right now, Ukraine has the upper hand in that regard. Western support also plays a key role here. The success of this operation likely involved high-resolution satellite imagery from NATO allies, advanced targeting systems, and deep coordination between Ukrainian intelligence and foreign advisors. It's a reminder that Ukraine's war effort has evolved into a technologically sophisticated campaign, one that rivals even NATO standards in intelligence, coordination, and strategic planning. The destruction of this secret supply line is more than a tactical win, it's a symbol of how the balance of power in this war is shifting. Russia's old-school reliance on secrecy and sheer volume is being outmatched by Ukraine's agility, intelligence, and precision. And as more of these strikes succeed, the myth of Russian invulnerability crumbles piece by piece. As news continues to spread, satellite images reveal just how extensive the damage was. Entire sections of track have been ripped apart, tunnels collapsed, and trains left scattered like broken toys. Repair crews have been seen working around the clock, but experts say it could take months to restore even partial functionality. In wartime logistics, that delay is devastating. It means fewer supplies, fewer reinforcements, and more chaos across the Russian front lines. Even Russian state media, usually quick to deny Ukrainian successes, has struggled to explain this one. Their reports have shifted from minor fire to sabotage to Western interference. But no matter how they spin it, the truth is clear. Ukraine struck deep, struck smart, and struck effectively. The Kremlin can no longer pretend that its secret networks are safe. Looking at the bigger picture, this operation shows a fundamental evolution in modern warfare. The age of giant armies and visible battles is fading. Now, wars are won by intelligence, cyber tactics, and precision strikes. Ukraine has mastered that formula, and Russia, despite its size, seems unprepared for it. Every time a hidden depot explodes or a bridge collapses, it's not just infrastructure being destroyed, it's the myth of control itself. As the dust settles, one thing is certain: this isn't just a story about a bridge or a railway. It's about the unraveling of a system built on secrecy and fear. It's about a smaller nation using intelligence and resilience to challenge a superpower. And it's about how, in the modern battlefield, no supply line is truly secret anymore. So, as the world watches, Ukraine's stunning move sends a powerful message that even Putin's most guarded assets can be exposed and destroyed. The war is far from over, but the tide, at least for now, seems to be turning. Ukraine has shown that brains can beat brute force and that the cracks in Russia's armor are widening with every strike. Thank you for watching till the end. If you found this analysis interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates and breakdowns of the ongoing conflict. Stay tuned, stay informed, and see you in the next video.